We are sponsored by a Korean Tottenham Hotspur fan who wishes for all Koreans and the rest of the world to visit and discover Singapore.
Email Kelly for an introduction to Singapore at jrjinsingapore@gmail.com. That's jrjinsingapore@gmail.com.
What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV, back here for another Tottenham update and a very special setting today here in Seoul, Korea. Right behind us we have Sonny's very own brand store, NOS 7. Nothing ordinary Sunday. We've been inside, we've got a bit of merch, and it's nice stuff in there, isn't it?
Yeah, nothing ordinary about Sonny's merch. I have to say, it's beautiful. We bought some. We got some bags over there. Went to do some shopping. Nice to support Sonny on his venture going into clothing brands. It's very nice clothes. So anyone here in Korea, go check it out. But yeah, really, really great.
We've also been, while we're in there, someone gifted us a Sonny keyring as well.
They did. You have it on you? Is it on you? No,
it's not on me. It's in my bag. But yeah, you got to check the vlog out for that one. But anyway, we've got some Tottenham transfer stories to bring to you today. First one from
some new names today, huh?
A little bit, yeah.
A little bit.
No spoilers. Uriel looked, an Argentinian journalist, says that Fiorentina are interested in Alejo Valiz. In the coming days, there could be an offer made to purchase the player. It's not said whether it be a loan or a permanent or maybe a loan with an option. I don't really know. But that's the story at the moment.
I don't think we're going to be considering, unless there's a serious offer on the table. I mean, I think it'd be silly at this point to consider a permanent just because he hasn't proven yet what he can do at Tottenham. He's only been here a year. I know the first year didn't go too well, but I think we've seen glimpses of Valiz and what he can do and his quality. Obviously, only got a handful of minutes in the first half of the season at Tottenham, did get a goal, and then the second half of the season was a bit of a disastrous loan deal at Sevilla where he barely played. Did he play at all, actually? He played a few minutes.
Like 2 or 3 minutes.
Yeah, barely played. So I think a loan deal where he's going to get minutes. If that's at Fiorentina, I think that'll be a really good move if he's going to start there and play some games. I think they're looking for a striker. So I think that would be a good move, but I wouldn't want to see us sell him because, he's still 20. So I think if we can just keep him around, see what we can do at Fiorentina, then make a judgment call next season. I wouldn't want to put an option to buy there unless it's like a really high and they're willing to activate it.
You're looking at it though, and you're looking at pre-season, and it looks like Will Lancashire's ahead of him in the pecking order, like already at 19 years of age.
Yeah.
Which is mad to think about because we only signed Valiz last summer. He broke into the first team. Well, I say broke into the first team, but he was getting minutes. And now in this pre-season, Will Lancashire seems to have overstepped him in the pecking order.
Which is, I wouldn't say it's a surprise considering how Lancashire's been scoring goals and the hype around him as well. But you got to remember, Valiz has more first-team experience in his career, playing in the Argentinian division, scoring quite a few goals. So it's a shame that he hasn't been given those opportunities. But look, apparently Lancashire's been performing in training to a better standard. So look, whoever's performing better deserves the opportunities.
Let's move on and let's go talk about Emerson Royal. Sport Media said that Tottenham have reached an agreement with AC Milan to sell Emerson Royal. The transfer is worth an initial 15 million euros plus a 3 million euros in bonus payments. This is from Sport Media set. I'm not sure how reliable they are, but that's what they're reporting today.
Yeah, I mean, we heard yesterday how close the agreement is. There's only $1 million difference, so I'm assuming this is going to happen probably next week. I'm assuming it will be announced. There is an agreement. I think if that is the figure, 15 million.
We said that last week.
Yeah, I mean, we say it every week. We'll have to wait and see. But if it's 15 million plus 3 million in bonuses, a total of 18 million euros, pretty decent fee. I think we'd take that and move on. And I think, it didn't quite reach the 20 million we're looking for, but it's only a couple million out, so I'll take it.
Duncan Castles is reporting that Tottenham are interested in signing Manchester United's Scott McTominay. We have heard in the last, I think we were linked with him about a month or so ago, or maybe 2-3 weeks ago. I think he's a player that has performed for Manchester United, has performed on the international stage for Scotland, but it's not the direction that we need to be going in.
I don't think he's a bad player. I think logically, if we're talking about Conor Gallagher and Jacob Ramsey, in a weird way, the way he's been playing for Man United recently actually is not like similar totally in profile, but I think apparently we're looking for a midfielder who's very good at pressing, very aggressive, and actually makes late runs in the box and looks to get goals. And McTominay doesn't not fit that in a way because he is quite aggressive. He's a big 6 foot tall midfielder, and he's definitely shown a propensity for Man United last season to definitely win headers in the box and make late runs and get goals. But I do think he's just limited technically, and I think that's going to hold him back at Tottenham in the way we play. He's going to make quick passing decisions, passing it around, popping the ball around. I don't think that's his game. So I think Gallagher and Ramsey are maybe a bit better than him at that. So I think those links make more sense. And apparently he's heavily linked with Fulham as well. So I don't know how much legs this actually has.
It doesn't make sense to me why we're heavily linked to midfielders right now. It really doesn't make sense. Whether it's Jacob Ramsey, whether it's Conor Gallagher, whether it's Scott McTominay. We've got so many midfielders at this football club. Lo Celso's still got to go out the door. And even with Lo Celso going out the door, I still don't think there's a room for a midfielder to come into this squad. With Lucas Bergvall coming in this season, with Archie Gray coming in this season. Where is there a spot for a midfielder? I just don't get it. Unless there's a surprise exit going on.
It's hard to say. I know the Athletic are reporting that Spurs are looking for a midfielder. You know, the profile I was talking about, strong, aggressive, who also can make late runs to the box and score. I mean, looking at our midfielders, I mean, Sarr was probably the closest last season to reaching that. He did get 3 goals, 3 assists. And I do think he's still only 21. And I do think he can develop his game in the forward final third to get more goals. So I do think he can become that. But maybe we're just looking for someone right now who could do it. I'm
saying, where do they fit in? Where do they fit in? Who's going to be the full guy in the midfield?
Decky can do that as well, I think. So
even before Bentancur got his injury, he was showing he could do that.
Bentancur, before he got his injury, he got 5 goals that season. Definitely was able to.
He was really adding those goal contributions towards the end of that season.
So, unless maybe he's leaving, I don't know where the room is.
It just doesn't make sense to me. Sammy Mockbell is reporting that Sergio Reguilon has rejected numerous offers from other clubs. He wants to play for a club in the European competitions next season. I mean,
but Sevilla aren't in there, are they?
I'm not sure if Sevilla are in Europe next year.
I don't think so, because they finished quite low down, I believe.
So maybe they're a club that he has rejected. But I mean, like, surely when Reguilon has realised the direction that his career is going in, surely he just wants to go to a club where he's starting week in, week out at the moment.
Agreed. That's what you'd think. And it makes sense why there's been no movement then on Reguilon if he's the one rejecting bids. And, West Ham, who I thought they'd be interested in him, but they're not in Europe. Sevilla obviously makes sense because he used to play there and did very well there, but they're not in Europe. So maybe those clubs who I thought would make good moves for him, that's why he hasn't done them, because he wants to play in Europe. That's a bit strange. I think he should lower his standards a bit. I don't think he should just be going to a team just because they're in Europe. He should be going to a team because he's going to start there, he's going to excel there, and then down the line, if he wants a bigger move, that can happen. But he needs to get his career back on track ASAP because it's really stagnated.
Yeah, I got a feeling like maybe at this stage of the window, that's where his line's at. But if the interest still isn't coming from those European clubs towards the end of the window, he will have to settle for someone, won't he? Mm. And last but not least, this was an exclusive from Fabrizio Romano last night saying Tottenham are exploring a move for Dominic Solanke. He's among the targets for Spurs. Difficult deal. He's a key player for Bournemouth. No formal bid for Bournemouth so far. Spurs exploring options to bring in a new striker and potentially a new winger based on opportunities. BBC are reporting that Tottenham target Dominic Solanke's contract includes a 65 million release clause that can only be activated by certain clubs. Solanke enjoyed the best season in the Premier League campaign in the last campaign, notching up 19 goals and 3 assists in Bournemouth colours. What's your initial thoughts on that?
And I'm not sure who I read this off. It might have been Paul O'Keefe, but don't quote me on that. I think he said Tottenham are one of those clubs who can activate the clause, so that would be quite intriguing. I like Dom Solanke. I'm a fan of his. I think he's actually a real handful. He's really good at holding the ball up, and when we're getting the ball into the channels, and if we need a direct kind of someone to aim at and a point of reference, I think he's actually really good at that. And I remember watching him against the even Arsenal centre backs back in the last season. I know Bournemouth lost the game 3-0, but he gave Saliba and Gabriel a real torrid time. And if on another day, I know there was a few refereeing decisions that day that went against him. Another day he would have had a goal or an assist, and they really struggled to deal with him. So I think that's a really good facet of his game. Obviously, his finishing is there. He got 19 goals last season for a Bournemouth side who are mid-table, and I think he's excelled in the Premier League. One thing I do question is he's good at holding the ball up, but whether I think Ivan Toney is a bit better than him when with actual passing ability, when he's asking to bring other players into play. He's good at holding the ball up, but I don't see him as like a great passer of the ball. But look, he got 19 goals last season. If we're looking at someone like a lot of people want Gyökeres. because of his record in the Championship and his record last season. I mean, Dom Solanke absolutely smashed the Championship a couple of years ago. I think he got like 30 goals or something. That was too easy for him. The season after that maybe didn't go as well with his first season back in the Premier League. Did he manage 10 goals? I think, but it wasn't maybe the season. But last season he showed he was very unlucky.
How many penalties did he get last season?
Not 100%, but I thought he was very unlucky not to make the England squad. Look, he got the same amount of goals as Ollie Watkins, who went to the Euros and was brilliant. So I think I'm not against it. I mean
the difference is, though, Solanke was on penalties, Watkins wasn't on penalties, wasn't he? Because Douglas Luiz was on penalties.
I don't know how many penalties. I don't think it was that many. Maybe it was more than I'm thinking of, but I don't know if it was like it wasn't like half his tally or anything like that, to my mind. But I think he had a great season. I think 65 million is a bit much, to be honest, but I'm definitely in favour if we're looking at him. I think he should be definitely one of the strikers on the list we're considering, because I'm a big fan of his, and if we're looking for a physical striker with with good technical ability and good finishing, I think he fits the bill. But 65 million is a lot, but he is 25.
I think that with Dominic Solanke, I think he's a player that fits the system. I do believe that he's a very good presser from the front. He knows where the back of the net is. But it's just a bit underwhelming. Like a year ago, we sold Harry Kane for 100 million. And if I would have told you a year ago, we're going to replace Harry Kane with Dominic Solanke, you would be like, what the hell are we doing? And that's where we're at right now. When you're looking at getting closer to our rivals up top, does Dominic Solanke really represent that?
Any of the strikers I said we're linked with, you probably would have said the same thing.
Yeah, but Dominic Solanke is probably more underwhelming than maybe like an Ivan Toney or a Gyökeres.
Yeah, if I told you a year ago we're going to replace him with Gyökeres, you would have said, that's crazy. Look, anyone holding up a candle to Harry Kane is going to be underwhelming, any striker. So as much as on the face of it, on the name of it, yeah, it's not the most fancy name, but I do think he's a really prem-proven striker who can score goals and he's very physical.
It makes no sense, right? We've been told, or we've been assuming that for the whole summer, we haven't been going for players because of the Euros, because of these international tournaments going on. Solanke wasn't at the Euros. Solanke's been waiting around, twiddling his thumbs on holiday for the whole of the summer. Why haven't we gone for him before? Why are we just moving for him now? Why are we just showing our interest now? Surely he wasn't at the top of the list.
Yeah, maybe not. Maybe the ones at the top of the list have been proven to be unattainable. I don't know what the
Ivan
list
Toney?
is.
Surely he's ahead of Dominic Solanke on the list.
I don't know. Or maybe we're not that interested in him. I'm not 100% sure. I mean, who was any actual reliable sources saying we were making a bid for Toney, or was it just us wanting interested?
No, I think there has been links. I can't remember who exactly they're from, but there definitely has been links.
Yeah, but I don't know. Maybe we feel like the Toney deal's not right for us, and there's not much difference between him and Solanke. I personally feel Toney's a bit better than Solanke, to be honest, just his overall gameplay.
I actually think Solanke's probably a better fit than Toney.
I actually think Toney's a bit of a better fit. I think there's similar. There's not much in it. I really don't think there's much in it. I just think Toney has a bit more to his game in terms of his overall gameplay. When he gets the ball, I think he's a bit more better technically than Solanke.
But Solanke's a better presser.
I think Solanke might be a better presser. I think when it comes to aerial ability, very similar. Finishing ability,
I think Toney's better aerially.
I think finishing ability, very similar. I think I think
Solanke's a better finisher.
I think in the box, Solanke is a better finisher. I think when it comes to more difficult finishes, I think Toney's a bit better on that.
When you're looking at the way Ange Postecoglou likes to get his wingers wide and look for the striker to get the cutbacks, I think Solanke would be pretty good at that.
Yeah, I think that, to be honest, both would be good, but I think maybe Solanke a tad bit better.
But don't get me wrong. I like Solanke as a player. I just feel it's a little bit underwhelming, especially with the money that you're going to have to pay for him, like 65 million. I feel like you can get a bit of a better strike, like spend an extra 10 million. I think Gyökeres is a better player.
But in terms of track record, is there much difference in Gyökeres and Solanke? I know Gyökeres scored a lot more, maybe a lot more, but that was in the Portuguese league last season, and Solanke got 19 in the Premier League.
Yeah, it's true. It's true, but I like what Gyökeres is about. I mean, he's big. I know Solanke's also big and physical, but I just feel like Gyökeres has that bit more to his game than is Dominic Solanke.
I think technically, again, I'm not saying. I feel like people might think I'm saying Solanke's bad technically. He's not, but I just think Toney and Gyökeres are that little bit better than him. But I don't think he's bad technically, Solanke.
Yeah. Anyway,
he's better than Richarlison technically, I think.
I think Solanke is an upgrade on Richarlison, but it's not that much of an upgrade on Richarlison, if you know what I'm saying.
65 million.
Like, what's the point of I don't think it changes the needle that much, getting rid of Richarlison and bringing in Dominic Solanke, even though I can't see really Richarlison getting 19, 20 Premier League goals. So maybe that's the thing.
Yeah, it's a difficult. We'll see if Tottenham actually are serious about him. I don't know if I can't see us activating that release clause. I'll be very surprised.
I have mixed feelings on Dominic Solanke. I do think he can do a good job for us, though. That's the reality. So I would prefer us to see us go for someone better, but if we do sign Dominic Solanke, I'm obviously going to get 100% behind it and support him, because I think he can get a lot of goals in this football club and in this system under Ange Postecoglou. But I want to know your opinions below. Do you think Dominic Solanke is the right move for Tottenham? Are we going to press forward and meet that release clause? 65 million is a hefty price to pay for Dominic Solanke. So we'll see how it goes. That is your Tottenham update. Like, subscribe and comment. And as always, come on you Spurs.